If you're thinking about starting an indoor garden, you're probably looking at grow tents. Grow tents have become ubiquitous among indoor gardeners. But do you actually need a grow tent? Grow tents are expensive, and the pros and cons of a grow tent may not be obvious to you if you've never used one. Do you buy the cheapest grow tent? Do you buy a brand that you like? In this video, I'll share my pros and cons of a grow tent from my experience so that you can hopefully make the best decision for yourself. Hi everyone, I'm Nick and welcome to my lab. Now, in my opinion, grow tents provide two primary benefits. There are others, but they're much smaller in my opinion. The first benefit is that grow tents block light, that is, light that may be outside of your tent from actually coming in and disrupting your growing environment. And this is really only an advantage if you're growing a light-sensitive crop like cannabis. Cannabis is typically grown under long days during the vegetation phase, or you might hear it called the veg phase. That means the day length is longer than 12 hours. It could be 14 hours, 16 hours, 18 hours. Some people even run 24 hours. But once their plants are large enough, growers will actually switch to short days, which for cannabis means day lengths 12 hours or less. This is because cannabis is a short day plant and it's sensitive to its photoperiod. This means that if you're growing cannabis in your house and you've flipped to the flowering phase and it's the nighttime within your grow space and someone in the house turns on a light, you may actually trigger those plants to stop flowering. So you need a growing environment that blocks light, outside light, from entering your grow space. This is where grow tents, being light proof, is beneficial to crops that are light sensitive, like cannabis. Growers can precisely control the photoperiod during the day and the length of the night period. But what if you're not growing cannabis? Is the light-proof nature of your grow tent actually necessary? Well, the answer is no. If you're growing most vegetables or ornamentals, the photoperiod or the day length really doesn't matter, and you don't need the light-proof nature of a grow tent. Now, the second benefit of grow tents is what everyone will take advantage of, and that is increasing the humidity of your growing environment. I'm filming this video during the winter in the northern US, and the relative humidity inside my apartment is hovering around 30 or 40%, but it's dropped as low as 20% during periods of extreme cold. Typically, plants like the humidity within their growing environment to be 60%, 70%, or even 80% to really grow well. And so that means if your growing environment has a humidity of 40% or less, you may struggle and not know why. Now, this doesn't mean that if the humidity of your growing environment, for instance, if you didn't have a grow tent, was 40% or less, it doesn't mean that your plants won't grow. It just means that your plants won't grow well and you may not know why. Now, what are some of the cons of grow tents? Well, the first is cost. I bought my tent on sale when it was around $300 during the holidays, but typically this tent retails for around $600. My recommendation is to buy the cheapest tent that meets your space needs. In my case, I bought a Gorilla Grow tent because it's the tallest tent on the market and I wanted to make a vertical garden within my tent. But if you plan to put your plants on the ground, which I think most people do, then you don't need the extra height that Gorilla Grow tents provide. Gorilla Grow tents are the most expensive on the market, and in my opinion, it isn't worth it. The second con of grow tents is the limitation of growing space. My recommendation is to buy the biggest tent that you can afford and that fits in your space. It's always better to have more space than you need, and if you buy a bigger tent, then you'll have more room to actually walk around the tent and take care of your plants. Because think about it, you'll need to water, you'll need to remove leaves, you need to scout for pests and disease. So you actually need to be able to get in your tent to work on your plants. In my case, I bought a 5x9 Gorilla Grow tent because I knew I was going to create a vertical rack within my grow tent, and this allows some space in front of my rack to actually walk in the tent and work on my plants. If I had the room in my apartment, I wouldn't have purchased a 5x9 tent and created a vertical rack. I would have just bought a 10x10 tent and created benches around the perimeter. In my opinion, the 10x10 tent is the sweet spot for grow tents. So those are my pros and cons of a grow tent based on my years of experience actually working within them. I hope this video helps you, and let me know in the comments if I missed anything that's important to you. Alrighty, see you on the next one.